Not much book can achieve this high. Joe Abercrombie is a great author. Why on earth there is no update on news regarding the sequels at all? Just give me the sequel, please. Hi guys, this is Dan. Welcome back to my channel. If you know me well, I have said this so many times in different videos. I am so bad in keeping up with all the new release. So in today's video, I have done some homework already and check out all the fantasy new release that I'm going to read in 2025. This list is not too long. I have a total of 7 books and they are mainly from all the well-known authors. So they are kind of like books that I must read next year as well. Also, there will be definitely more fantasy books coming out in 2025, especially by the end of the year. Most of the books that I will talk about are from the first half of 2025. This list of course can't include every new release in 2025, so what I will do in the next year is that I will keep an eye on book subscription and see what sort of interesting new release they're gonna publish. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel Fantasy so you won't miss any new content from me. Why not also share your most anticipated new release down in the comment below? Maybe there is some hidden gem that I missed. The first one I have is like a borderline 2025 new release because it is The Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, the 5th book of the Stormlight Archive, also a conclusion of an era. This one is out now. You can get it from the bookshop because it was published on 6th of December. This is a new release and obviously everyone on BookTube are now talking about it, but I don't want to check this one out yet. Out of every book in the Cosmere, I still haven't finished the Mistborn Era 2. Just in case this 5th book gonna have a very significant connection to the Cosmere as a whole. I mean, it is like a finale of an era and I don't really want to jump into it as like a headless chicken. So I have decided to read this one in 2025 once I finish the Mistborn Era 2. And that is also the reason why in my mind I'm thinking like this one is like a new release of next year. I have honestly really high hope for this one, and I mean the Stormlight Archive is probably the most epic installment across the Cosmere and the quality of the last 4 books are quite consistent. I just can't wait to jump back to this series once I finish the Mistborn Era 2 first. From now on, I will check about the books according to the expected publication date, so they are expected. We are not guaranteed to have those books on the expected date, and this may be different across different countries. My data is based on the UK. And the dates I have seen can be from Goodreads, from Amazon or other publishers. Firstly, we time skip to April, and this one I am pretty sure it is confirmed because it is A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett, the 2nd book of the Shadow of the Leviathan series. The expected date for this one is April's Fool, the 1st of April. I read the first book, The Tinted Cup, back in August, and I think it is such a fresh breath from all of the epic fantasy that I have read. This one is like a mystery detective story in which we follow an investigator called Anna and her assistant called Dean. Dean is an engraver, meaning that he can remember every detail in a crime scene. In the first book, this pair investigate the murders of some government officials, and I did have a good time with this whole investigation process. I love working my little grey cells with Dean and finding out the truth together. During this process, we are introduced to an external threat by a Leviathan during the wet season. But in the first book, we didn't pick up this world building much, so I look forward to the second book, how the plot gonna be expanded. Most importantly, of course, to enjoy the investigation, to enjoy the banter between Anna and Dean. They are just so fun. The next one I have in April is the final book of a trilogy, and it is The Book That Held Her Heart by Mark Lawrence, the last book of the Library trilogy. This one will be out 9 days later on 10th of April in the UK. I also started this series earlier this year and I am up to date. Like the title of this series, it is about the library, where generation and generation of knowledge accumulate over the years, and I mean years. In the last two books, we have been following the Führer, who is a librarian, and Eva with his siblings trapped in the library. To be honest, I was not so sure what sort of direction this series is going for, from what our two main characters are going through and the library they are in. Look like they got quite a lot of secrets and mysteries. So we will be with these two main characters to dig out the truth about the library, and the scope will just get bigger and bigger. There would be conflict and power struggle, how the knowledge in this library should be used, or some philosophical discussion about the nature of the library. I didn't expect a series or a trilogy about a library could be so expensive or so immersive. Honestly, I was quite invested in it, and I can't wait to see what the Führer and Eva would do, because the ending of the second book was just like epic. And I mean, it is weird to say like something epic happened in the library. You know what I mean? I just need to wait for the Lord Library to confirm would they do a special edition of the last book, because I have got the last two books from them and they look pretty good. They're like shelves of books. And then we are moving to May. I have The Strength of the Field by James Islington, the second book of the Hierarchy series, and this one will be out on 6th of May. I finished the Mechanius trilogy by the same author in this year, and I appreciate how grand the plot can be. The magic system or the character work are just like exceptional. I haven't started the Will of the Many, which is the first book of the series, because obviously I just got too many books to read and I just can't fit it into any month's TBR. But also I do prefer a series that is completed and then I can check out all the books in it, rather than like waiting for years for the sequel to be released. I hate that wait because I can easily forget every details, which is such a shame in like a fantasy series. Never mind though, I think the Wheel of the Many or this Hierarchy series would be great, because I have heard this one has become their favorite so easily. And looking on Goodreads, the rating is like over 4.6 stars, which is like crazily high, honestly. I have done the Goodreads Choice Awards video and 4.6 is such a high rating. Not much book can achieve this high. Honestly, I just can't wait to start this series because of this reputation. Big reputation, guys. A week later, on 30th of May, we have another book from a very popular author, The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Confession here first, I haven't read anything by this author, let alone anything from the First Law world. And then I check on Goodreads and I don't think this book got any connection to the First Law world, so it is safe for me to check this one out. As a newbie to Joe Abercrombie, this one is also very different because it is a fantasy horror, which is like a subgenre that I recently picked up and I oddly enjoyed it. The synopsis doesn't really give out too much. It looks like it is about a brother gathers a group of evils to perform a task, so I don't really know what to expect from it. I have heard plenty of times that Joe Abercrombie is a great author, praising the character work and the action scenes in a very chaotic world. As someone who has never read anything from him, I think The Devil's gonna be a great starting point for me to see what's so great and the charm of Joe Abercrombie. And by the way, the cover of this book is just like awesome. It looks so cool. The last one in May, I can't say it for certain. I believe I am not the only one waiting for this sequel. And I have checked the publication date of this book for many times. Once I saw it will be out in last October. This time I checked on Amazon, it is 8th of May. The book I am talking about is book 3 of the Burning series by Evan Winter, The Lord of Demons. Back maybe 4 or 5 years ago, this series was so popular. Many people were talking about it and quite a lot of booktubers recommending the first book too. So at that time, because of this recommendation, because of the reputation, I started this series, and it is probably the first few fantasy series that I have read too. But I have just no idea why. After such a success, and you can also check the ratings on Goodreads, why on earth there is no update on news regarding the sequels at all? And so I can't really remember what had happened in the series exactly because it has been so long. I think it is like an epic fantasy series, and Tao is our protagonist, who is driven by revenge for the death of his family. Tao was a low-born soldier who would slowly climb up the social ladder to achieve his goals. There will be, of course, magics and dragons like the title of the first book, The Rage of the Dragon, and there will be plenty of intense action scenes as well. I just hope that this time we can really get the third book because this series was great and the wait since the second book is just too long. Just give me the sequel, please. Then we are jumping to July. For this one, I don't have an exact publication date, but I am confident that this one will be out in this month, and it is The Sorrow of the Sea by Stephen Aryan, the last book of the Nightingale and the Falcon trilogy. Why I am so confident about the publication date is only because this author is so transparent, and obviously he got a plan and everything looks in time. If you haven't heard about this series, it is a historical fantasy that is based on the Mongolian invasion to the Middle East during the 30th century. We will follow 4 POVs from Mongolian Count, Mongolian Prince, or the spies from Persia. What I do love about this series so far is how the author take a part of history and then turn it into a fantasy world that is so immersive. I also enjoy the plot. To see how this tiny group of Persian rebels doing something like really minor step by step to take down the Mongolian Empire, you can see some little effort can create a domino effect and topple the empire. The second book is in my December TBR. It is also a new release back in October, and I just can't wait to get back to this world. For the last one, I don't have an exact publication date yet. It is like a book that I hope I can see next year, and it is Of Empires and Dust by Ryan Cahill, the 4th novel of the Bound and the Broken series. If you don't know, you can actually check out the progress of this book on Ryan Cahill's website. By the time of filming, the outline is 90% done, first draft 87%, 50% into beta reading, and the second draft is 5% in. Honestly, I am not Ryan Cahill. I'm not sure will we see this book in 2025. But I mean, if not quite likely, we just need to wait for 1 more year and this one is probably will be out. With this progress and how transparent that progress is, I don't think we are actually that far behind if I'm being honest and optimistic. If you don't know, The Bound and the Broken is an epic fantasy series that we're gonna follow a huge cast of characters. It is like the good old battle between the good and the evil. Kaden is a young man from a village in the middle of nowhere and suddenly become the center of this war. Even the side characters are also well written too. They got their own storyline going and you will be totally sucked into it, and it is such an emotional journey. There will be the use of elemental magics and other mythical creatures, not just like dragons but also like worms, dwarves, elves and the evil ones. Honestly, it is another very well written, immersive, exciting, emotional, epic fantasy series. If you haven't checked this series out, I think it is the time for you to do so. Here are all the new releases I plan to read in 2025. I hope that I didn't miss out any important, exciting new release. If I do, just let me know in the comment. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. If you don't want to miss any content from me, subscribe to my channel, Dan the Sea. I'll see you all real soon. Goodbye.